Hi, Jeff here from Michigan Michael Chekhov Classes. So, you are an actor and you don't live in New York or Los Angeles. You love what you do, you want to keep doing it forever. You even have dreams of making a living solely doing theater or film or both. Here's my advice to you. Don't move. I know this may sound sacrilegious to some. What? Don't move to New York? Don't move to Hollywood? But that's where Broadway is. That's where all the films are made. There are tons of videos right here on YouTube encouraging actors, young and old, to make their way to the big city, get an agent, get a manager, and get famous. And I'm not going to try to knock LA or New York. They are clearly awesome places. New York is a city like no other. Los Angeles is still the world's film capital. Certain casting directors around the country still give special credence to actors who hail from those zip codes. And if you have New York theater credits on your resume, the odds are pretty good that you'll be treated more seriously by any theater or casting director across the country. But here's the question. Is your dream to be famous or to live your life as an actor, director, or filmmaker? Most actors that I talk to just want to act. Most directors just want to direct. Theater and film people want to do theater and film. They want to do challenging work. They want agency over their own careers. They want to be creative, feel appreciated, and have the respect of their peers. Most importantly, they just want to make a living doing what they love without having to work at a job they hate in order to do it. Many actors move to the big city thinking that's the first step towards this goal, only to find out really quickly that that may have been a fool's errand. Both New York and LA are expensive. Very expensive. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in New York City is about $3,000 a month. In LA, it's $2,500 a month. Different sources vary, but taking into account all of the average cost of living expenses one faces there, a person needs to make at least $40,000 to $150,000 a year to live relatively comfortably in New York. Los Angeles is even more. The median income is $54,000, and according to GoBankRates.com, you need upwards of $150,000 a year to live comfortably. Now, I know people that subsist on much less, and that's okay. But it can get old pretty quickly. Also, being an actor is like running a small business. So you have to add the cost of starting and maintaining that business, classes, headshots, and other expenses. So we're talking about serious money just to try to be an actor in those towns. If you're not independently wealthy, then you will need a day job, one that gives you flexibility to audition when you need to, sometimes at the last minute. It should pay well and not be particularly time intensive, as you will need to spend as much of your free time as you can on pursuing your passion. Of course, like I said before, there are ways to survive. Actors do it all the time. You can get an apartment outside the city and commute. You can get a roommate or two, or three, or four. I know actors who have done this. And I also know actors who move to the city and spend the first 5 years saving up for headshots. I know actors who lose their dreams to their day jobs and start to have other dreams. Soon, acting becomes something they used to do, not something they are actively pursuing right now. This story is the norm for actors, not the exception. And there is nothing wrong with your dreams changing as you get older. But if you want to start a small business, why try to start it in a place where the market is already saturated and the startup costs so astronomical? There's this pervasive idea that in order for an actor to be a professional, they must live in New York or LA. And yes, if we go simply by the numbers, the opportunities there are more abundant and lucrative there than in smaller markets like Detroit, Minneapolis, or Atlanta. That being said, thousands of actors move to these markets every year in the hopes of hitting it big, and just as many give up those dreams faced with the wall of competition from those markets that chew up actors' dreams like so much cotton candy. The sad truth is that New York and LA needs another actor like a forest needs another tree. They have plenty of actors, many from markets where those actors would most likely find greater success and artistic fulfillment if they had stayed. If we go by percentages and not just by numbers, then your odds of success, and I mean true success, are probably just as good where you are as the coasts. Additionally, the market is becoming less centralized every year. Hollywood doesn't have the monopoly on filmmaking it once did. Atlanta, Chicago, even Pittsburgh and Cincinnati have great up-and-coming film industries. The advent of YouTube and similar sites means creators can create anywhere on the planet. Theater is and should be everywhere in the country, not just in New York City. In fact, I would say it is your responsibility as an artist to stay as local as you can and give back to your home states. You are an artist, and you provide a necessary service to your community. Detroit and cities like it need great artists to stay and give back. What's more, if you do, you will find those cities more than able to love you back in return. In talking to many local directors and artistic directors, many have said to me that one of the biggest obstacles to their artistic success is the fact that it's hard to build a reliable company of actors because so many leave the area on a regular basis. It really is like trying to build a house on sand. We have awesome local schools and universities churning out wonderful actors every year, but most are encouraged, even groomed, to leave the area as soon as possible. Talent is a commodity that communities need to cherish. Talent is entrepreneurial, inspiring others to think outside the box and create new businesses. Talent makes people want to stay in their respective communities by improving the overall quality of life. Detroit gets it with so many other art forms. Visual arts, techno, blues, rock and roll. Detroit is one of the greatest places in the world for this stuff. But where it comes to performing arts, particularly theater and film, it's more than willing to help those artists pack up and leave as soon as possible. If you are a performing artist thinking of moving away for good, I'm begging you to stay. If you can save up to leave, then you can save up to start a theater here or fund a film here. Help tell our story. Help make it better. Look at Stratford, Canada. In the 1950s, it was more or less known as a manufacturing town. They repaired train engines and made furniture. The town was dying. Then someone came up with a desperate plan to save their town. Stratford, let's do Shakespeare here. Yes, they've had their ups and downs, just like any place, but overall, the town draws 1 million people a year due largely to its Stratford Shakespeare Festival. Filmmakers know this too. New Zealand is one of the hottest places in the world for film. Taika Waititi, Peter Jackson, Sam Neill, Russell Crowe, Jane Campion, Manu Bennett, all internationally known actors and directors who started making film in New Zealand. New Zealand! An island nation in the South Pacific whose entire population is about the size of Metro Detroit. Of course, they have a film industry with government support going back to the 1970s, so that's helpful. And Michigan could be doing more to support local and national filmmaking in our state. Film incentives. Film incentives. But I would argue that due to the increase in technology and the prevalence of affordable filming equipment, even without those incentives, it is still easier than ever for small filmmakers to make movies in and about Michigan, telling our stories and developing our voice. The arts are essential to a healthy, diverse economy. Study after study shows this is true. Local theater adds billions of dollars to our economy nationally. Theater is a business, and while not exactly lucrative in most cases, it can still give many people work while being artistically fulfilled and being able to have some kind of life involving the American dream. You know, 2.5 kids, a dog, family dinners, that kind of stuff. I have spoken with many theater and film people living on the coasts who say they dread going back to their home states because there's nothing for them there. And they're kind of right. But why? Maybe there's nothing for them because they and others like them keep leaving? Actors Equity, the union for professional theatrical actors, started in New York City in 1913. At that time, the population of New York was, guess what, about the size of Metro Detroit right now. So if there were enough actors in theater at that time to start a whole union dedicated to help them, why isn't there enough actors in this area to build a strong and vibrant community as well? Maybe population has nothing to do with it. Maybe it's about attitude, the desire to stay, to work, to make our community a better place for us. Maybe instead of focusing on what our community isn't, we start focusing on what our community is. Detroit is a vibrant, up-and-coming community with a long history of being at the forefront of music, visual arts, and performing arts. It still has cheap real estate for any new theater company to pick up. There is money here and people who love and support the arts. It has talented actors, directors, and filmmakers. Most importantly, it has energy and excitement. People want to help Detroit Metro. They want it to succeed. It's on the cusp of breaking out. Do you want to be a part of that? Maybe we start promoting ourselves, supporting each other with the same energy and enthusiasm that actors have when they first move to New York or LA, starry-eyed and ready to do what it takes to succeed. Maybe we close our ears to those who say, move to New York and LA, and open our hearts to making our community a jewel of theater and film. Big dream, I know. But hey, is it any bigger than becoming a star in Hollywood? I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Tell me what you're doing to make our community better in the comments. Tell me why you want to move as well. I'd love to hear from you. See you guys later.